Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, this is the girl George and the Dragons radio show. We're back in Hollywood again, my old hometown. I was spent about 12 years there. I wrote that song there for the Anti-Club. We played the Anti-Club, and they just kind of laid around like they thought they were too hip to get into it. Not like Ellis Bar where they threw shit at you or jumped up and down or something. They didn't just lay around like fools. So anyhow, we've got a friend of mine, Anthony, right?
Anthony.
Anthony, he's an actor and he's a designer and he's a director and he's making a movie about Janis. Wow, our favorite subject, Janis Joplin. Tell us about your movie.
Well, my movie is based on her cultural landscape that still exists, and it's based upon all the stories that I've been accumulating throughout the years. I can remember being as young as 12 years old and asking people randomly, had they met Janis Joplin or do they have any stories about her? And now I have like a treasure trove of information, on her and her life and the people around her. And I've read all the books and everything, all the biographies. There's still a couple more there's one that just came out, but I've read everything and it just wasn't enough. So I basically set out to acquire my own. And so recently I've been shooting film interviews in LA and San Francisco randomly. And I've probably got about 40 hours of audio-visual interviews of everybody's completely undocumented and unpublished stories, and about 70 hours in just audio interview. But so yeah, it's coming together. She's I feel that she defines, and not to glamorize her, death or anything, but I feel that she defined the crash and burn mysticism more than any of those other artists out of the 27 Club of Rock and Roll, because she is one of them who actually was cremated. And, so it goes back to the crash and burn thing. But she, following her footsteps as much as I can, she left a tremendous impact on culture and changed the world in many ways that a lot of people don't even realize, that she did.
So are you the reincarnation of Janis?
Well, I'd like to think so. A lot of people seem to think so, and I don't really. If there is a reincarnation of Janis Joplin, I don't feel it goes solely to one individual. I feel that her spirit was powerful enough to where it will embody, many different, people on this planet. But
you have a little piece of her heart, right?
Definitely. I do feel like it's hard. I don't know if I can think of it in the reincarnation sense, but definitely her spirit has impacted me in a way where I feel her daily, and I feel her, I feel her. I really do. I can, it seems like in a way she's kind of connecting the dots for me. The whole filming and everything has been quite a trip, considering that, because I really do feel like she's bringing her friend, like certain people, into my project that I wouldn't have thought on my own. They're just kind of coming out of the woodwork and coming along with these amazing stories that just bring her to life in a really remarkable way. Along with,
That's one of the great things about being a performer or an artist is you kind of leave a little bit of your soul in everybody that got what you did. If they really got what you did, then they got a piece of
Definitely.
you inside of them, and they manifest that along with other pieces of other artists that they've that they've understood and loved, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It and I constantly am coming across different people who are doing projects that involve Janis, and every once in a while, somebody will ask me, "Aren't you a little worried that, someone's going to steal, you know, the Janis Joplin topic and kind of make something, really extraordinary, and you're not going to be able to do your own?" But I don't really, and I just tell them that I don't really worry about that because already as it is, I have lots of unpublished information, and whatever project I do is going to have my own stamp on it. So, yeah, it definitely, my spirit definitely goes into it as well as Janis' spirit.
Well, it'd be like that movie that was about the Beatles that never had the Beatles in it, where those kids were looking for the Beatles all the time and they never found them. Do you remember that? I Want to Hold Your
Yeah,
Hand or
I
something
do.
like that was called. That was such a great movie. Those kids were looking all over for the Beatles and never found them, but they found the essence of them everywhere. And
Yeah,
that's really
totally.
cool. That's really cool. I like that. I'd
Yeah,
like to be in your movie. I met Janice once at
yeah,
Enrico's in San Francisco. I was with Chris Christopherson and Bobby Newworth and Star, my partner, and Alan, my guitar player. We had just got through playing at the Coffee Gallery, and Bobby Newworth, which is Chris, is he was Janice's friend, and he was Bobby Dylan's road manager. And he brought Christopherson to see us play at the Coffee Gallery. And afterwards, we went to Enrico's. And we're all sitting around Enrico's, me and Chris and Bobby Newers and Star and them. And Janice comes flying in Enrico's, and we're at the center table. And she's like flying around and around and around the table, and she's waving this newspaper in her hand, and it's a Chronicle, and they just wrote a whole 2, 3 pages on her or something. And she's bitching about how they said that she had fucked everyone from the janitor on down, and she says, couldn't they have at least said the janitor on up? And that's what I remember her saying. So that's my
so you're,
one time I sort of met Janice. She kind of flew around the table for a while.
what year was that?
I know exactly what year. It was 1970.
Oh, it was
Because
1970.
it was
Wow.
right after she had spent a couple of weeks with Christopherson.
And you were there with your sword and all?
Oh yeah, I had the sword and the velvet and the book. Everyone knew me. I played around North Beach for years. So and Mike Wilhelm was my friend and stuff. So everyone knew me, and everyone knew each other. We're all musicians, so we all knew each other. But I'd never met Janice. I knew people that knew her, but I'd never met her.
Yeah.
I know mostly guys. And I know
Yeah.
mostly people that come to see me play. I don't really go see other people play. I'm a musician. They come see me play, or I run open mics and stuff, and they play at the open mics and shit. But I went to see her play once after that with my guitar player, and it was out in San Rafael or something, and it was just so weird. There was all these Hell's Angels there, and it was like very violent. You could feel the violence there. It was just very violent. You just knew something horrible was going to happen, and we were all stoned. And I said, "Let's leave. I can't deal with this." So we left before she went on, and that was the night she got hit in the face by some Hell's Angels. So it's a good thing I left, because I would have had to jump up on stage and beat up the Hell's Angels and get myself killed.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Trying to play superhero, I would have gotten killed. So it's a good thing I wasn't there. I was at Altamont, right in front of the stage. Almost got
Oh,
killed
cool.
there.
Oh,
And
wow. Oh, how cool.
I was with the Hells Angels on that run. They went up to Bass Lake that Hunter S. Thompson wrote
Yeah.
about. Back, I was like about 20, and I used to hang out at the jam sessions out in Hayward. I used to sing out. And this guitar player, every time he'd drive up on his Harley, I'd say, "Hey, give me a ride," It was a joke. And so one night he says, "Well, if you're here in the morning, I'll give you a ride." So, they went all night. And so in the morning, I was there like at about 6 o'clock, and I'd been up all night at a jam session. And he says, "Well, hop on." And so I hopped on, and I ended up with like thousands of motorcycles going up to Bass Lake. This whole run of motorcycles. And he was like one of the head guys for the Hells Angels, which I didn't know. And so we went up there, and I spent like 3 days with them. But nobody bothered me because they figured I was this old lady, but I wasn't. We were just, musician friends, But if I hadn't been hooked onto him, I would have got, what would have happened. But it was fun. See, if you go with the flow, you end up all kinds of places.
Yeah, I meet people like on a daily that, tell me they've met her, and my grandma met her, and my grandma doesn't really have much to remember on it, but what she does remember is she told me at first that she was drunk, but she recently told me that she was on LSD, but she remembers Janis coming into this gay bar. My grandma's bisexual, so, and she's also from Dallas, Texas, and we have quite a bit of roots in our family, just like Janis. So,
how old is your grandma?
My grandma was born in 1947.
Oh, your grandma is younger than me. I'll be 70 in about a week and a half now.
Oh yes, yeah. So she met her, and I'm not sure if it was the Palms, because she doesn't
the Palms.
Really
I remember the Palms. We used to go to the Palms.
Well,
she doesn't
really remember.
Street.
Yeah, she doesn't really remember whether it was the Palms or no, in LA. In LA.
Oh! There was a Palms on Polk Street in San Francisco.
Yeah, no, there's a Palms also in West Hollywood, and they've recently torn the place down. But it was on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I was doing some research on it, and I had no idea that Janis hung out there. But then I asked my grandma, I said, "Was it possibly the Palms where you met her?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, it could have been the Palms, but it was a lesbian bar, so it was probably most likely the Palms." But I didn't know that, like, Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and all sorts of people used to hang out there back in the 60s. But, and I used to hang out.
Janis was AC/DC. She liked whatever.
Oh yeah, no, she was all over the place. So yeah.
Have you ever been to that thing out on Santa Monica or on Halloween? Me and my daughter went out there, and everybody was dressed up. I mean, the whole street was dressed up for Halloween.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
Do they still do that?
It's a blast. Yeah, they do it every year. It's a blast.
It was great.
I'm actually trying to get a hold of some news footage from KTLA 5, because when I was about 4 years old, it was 1989. I was born in 86, so 3 years old. I was with my grandma, my mom, and my two uncles, and we were walking out in Hollywood, and Hal Fishman, I remember it too. It was one of my earliest memories, but I remember he was wearing the glasses and all, and he asked me if I was willing to, if he could interview me. So they went and interviewed me, and it was on Halloween 1989, and it was in Los Feliz. And when we lived in Arcadia, Los Feliz, when we lived in Arcadia and I was about 6 years old, I remember we had a taping of it, and as the news ends from the commercial break, you hear this little kid saying, "Happy Halloween, Happy Halloween, Happy Halloween," like hysterical. And then they went on to interview me, but my whole family's in there, and I'm in there also, but we moved from Arcadia when I was about 6 or 7, going on 7, and we had lost our storage. A lot of drama was going on, but we lost our storage, so we lost that video. And now I'm like trying to get it, but it's kind of a bitch to get it because KTLA 5 says that they don't have anything prior to 1993, which I think is bullshit, because if it's Hal Fishman, you know, they got to have some record of that. But yeah, I've been doing the Halloween thing since I can remember. It's definitely my favorite time of the year.
When did you realize you were gay? Does that happen when you're a baby, or does that wait until puberty, or what?
I definitely, well, I had a pretty, I wasn't at all, you know, isolated as a child, or, you know, I was very free as a kid and was given, you know, the freedom to ride my bikes anywhere and, you know, hang out with kids and, you know, get into trouble, basically. But my earliest sexual experiences were probably about 4 years old, and I don't know if I should be talking about that, but it
Lord,
was
4 years old? Was it a grown-up or another kid?
No, it was another kid. It was another kid, same age. So
a boy?
I remember
was it a boy?
That boys and girls, kind of both, you know, both.
4 years old, my goodness.
I remember there was a brother and a sister who I kind of like, you know, but yeah, I guess I grew up pretty early, but I never questioned whether it was right or wrong. I just kind of, you know, I just did it, and it just seemed right, you know. It seemed right, but it seemed like something I would have to keep from my mom. And when she would start to, you know, find out that I was, you know, a promiscuous kid, you know, she would definitely scold me for it. So it was definitely something I tried to keep from her. And eventually, when I was 18, I was in a rehab. I had problems with drugs in the past, but now I'm, you know, completely sober. And I actually, you know, I thank Janis for that in a lot of ways, because this whole film got me sober, and it got me to, you know, really evaluate what I was doing in life and realize that, you know, time's running out. I need to keep my mind clear and, you know, not allow drugs to steal my creativity. But when I was about 18, I was in boarding school, Phoenix House, and we were doing like these therapy meetings, and my mom came, and one of the therapists, you know, she was like, "Do you want to tell your mom that you're gay?" So I decided to tell her, and she was crying, and she was like, "Baby, I've been waiting, you know, for years for you to tell me that." But she never really made it very easy for me to tell her that. So, but with the therapist there, it was all right. But
she always knew. She always knew, really?
She always knew. She didn't really approve of it, because my grandma's bisexual, and then I'm gay, but my mom's like stone cold straight, you know. So she never really approved of the fact that her mom was gay, so she definitely didn't approve of the fact that I was gay. But now she's
well,
all right.
It's not like you could approve or not approve it, just something that is.
Yeah, she's all right with it now. You know, I'm her first son, and you know, I'm pretty gay, you know. But yeah, and so I live with my grandma, and you know, my grandma's gay too, so we're very open with each other, and you know, we watch TV, and you know, I'll be like, "Oh wow, that guy's hot," and she's like, "Oh, you like that? Oh well, I like this," you know. So you know.
So what do you think about that? All this marriage stuff that's happening.
Well, I mean, I think it's awesome that gays, you know, we have the freedom to marry now, and it's kind of stupid on the, you know, on the U.S., you know, or the U.S. part that it hasn't happened a long time ago, you know. But I think it's a good outlet for me to find a nice sugar daddy and, you know, be comfortable for the rest of my whole entire life. No, you know what? I'm constantly searching for, you know, love. I just realized that, you know, I can't keep searching for it. It'll happen when it happens. But I think it's good. You know, I was actually on my way to work today, and I was thinking about the whole marriage thing, and I was thinking about how I would like to find a rich sugar daddy to take care of me for the rest of my life. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm
Well, I
pro-marriage.
think everyone should have the right to do whatever the fuck they want to do as long as they ain't hurting nobody else.
Exactly, and that's how I believe, and I'm clean spirited, and you know I have a big heart. I know I do, and I only want to help change the world for the better. And somehow I feel like I'm going to be able to do that, through my project. And my project is, it's about Janis Joplin, but it's it's also about my history and my search for Janis. And I don't know if you've ever heard of like the famous or the Roman god Janus,
No.
which is spelled with a U. Well, Janis is actually
You mean
I don't know
Zeus's
how to
wife?
really,
You mean Zeus's
well,
wife?
yeah, well, this is like it's a ancient god, Janus, but Janus always stands at the doorway. Hence why Janis, is considered the first female of rock and roll. She opened up a lot of those doors, and just like the Roman god Janus, Janus stands at the doorway, and it's a two-headed being. And really what it is, it's to reflect. One head looks to the reflection on what was, and the other one looks to what it's coming to be. So it's two heads back to back. And so any information that's obtained on the recollections that's looking to what was is that whole mysticism of Janus. So I kind of see myself as the information, that's coming to what is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So
Yeah,
I see myself kind of alongside Janis, and the whole the project is the second degrees of separation to Janis Joplin, and it's based on all those people that I met, that are 2 degrees separations away from Janis. So it's not so much on her, but it's the landscape which still exists. You know what I mean? It's very interesting, very mystic, and it's so crazy because we didn't even have any money to like really have any stable place to stay when we went to San Francisco. And at first we didn't even have any money to get up there. So I was like, how are we going to do this? But I was like, we're going to go to San Francisco. So one of my friends ended up coming along, and in the photos you see me and a girl and another guy. That's my friend Tatiana, and that's my friend Gray. And we all took our bikes, and we were going to hitchhike to San Francisco, which I've actually done before. I've done quite a bit of hitchhiking. So we were going to hitchhike, but we ended up, scraping enough money to get a bus ticket, and we took a bus ticket out there. First we were like, where are we going to stay? So we got a tent, and we were going to find like a camping ground, which we didn't end up finding. But I remember we're standing on the edge of the pier, and my whole thing is I just approach people randomly, and it's been a lot of footwork. I have good luck towards a lot of people. Usually people, I approach them right, and they give me the information I asked for. But most interviews have been, a great experience. I think I sent you also a message that someone sent in as a photo. When I met her at a coffee shop, but she wrote me this message on Facebook, and it was so awesome because she said that I left an artistic imprint in her mind that she'll never forget, and that was really cool. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. We're standing over the pier, and we have like no place to go, and I see some guy come on like one of those beach cruiser bikes, and it's like real late at night. We had like a bottle of wine with us, and we were smoking some pot. And I just asked him, I said, do you know anybody who knew Janis Joplin? He said, yes, my old landlord was close friends with her. He said, I'll be right back. And so he took his bike, and he rode off to this dock, and he came right back. And he started telling me the story about how old landlord had one of her shawls like draped over his bed, and he had a whole Janis closet. And he asked, like, "So where are you guys going?" And we were like, "Well, we're just kind of wandering around." And he goes, "Well, I have a yacht right here." So I also sent you some photos, like on a yacht. But we stayed on his yacht for the night, and he called Janis's friend, who's Richard Hungen, and left him a message saying that, I met this guy, and he has his heart into the project, and he's doing this documentary on Janis Joplin. We are.
We'll have to find you up on Facebook and look for your movie. It's Anthony Anteater. This is the Girl
quick.
George. Yes, it goes fast. Girl George and the Dragons Radio Show. Saying, see you later, alligator.
Thank you so much, Girl George.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's crazy but me. Everybody's nutty as can be. Forming gangs, waging wars, painting the names upon the door. You against